Oh, yes. That's better, isn't it? You feel better? I do. Here's an idea for you. If time makes bread better, tastier, moister, crustier, well then there's no need to panic. Because the bread that you salvage out of your collapse disaster might just be your best bread ever. Roll it! We've all been there, haven't we? When popping out took longer than you thought, or you just simply forgot that you're making bread in the first place, only to return to find your dough a little bit too delicate, a little bit too fragile, or possibly completely collapsed over the edges of your tin in a big, sticky mess. That sucks! I get it. But don't throw it away. The first and easiest, but not the quickest solution we're talking about today is just to simply reshape it. So take a deep breath, because everything is going to be okay, I promise. Scrape the dough out of your tin, ball it up again, let it rest and relax for 10 minutes before repeating your final shape just like you did the first time round. Pop it back into the tin and let it puff up. It might puff up a little bit slower this time, depending on how long you forgot it for, but expect that and just give it some time. And the fact that the flavour and the gluten have developed even more, given all the time it's had, means your final loaf will taste even better and probably rise even higher than it would have done in the first place, making for a lighter loaf that withholds its moisture after it's baked for longer. What a massive win your mistake turned out to be, hey? You see, the yeast inside of your dough isn't finished, it's not dead, that's not what caused the collapse, it's just that the gas it produced became too much for the structure of the dough to hold. It's like blowing up a balloon, you can't just keep puffing it up forever and ever and ever and it get bigger and bigger and bigger. At some point, it's going to pop, and that's what happened to the hundreds and thousands of tiny weeny balloons within the structure of your bread dough. The bubbles pop, the gas escapes, the dough collapses, but your yeast has still got some power left to puff up your dough. So that's the quickest thing you can do in terms of work for you. But you still got to do that pre-shape, the final shape, wait for it to puff up and then finally bake it. So in forgetting your dough in the first place, you have kind of added 1 or 2 hours onto the bread making process. So for a quicker, but still not the quickest solution, making rolls could be the answer. Turn out your loaf dough and divide into 8 pieces like I have here. Roll them up into balls, place them on a parchment-lined tray and let them rest and puff up. Then bake on 200 degrees C with steam for 12 to 15 minutes. You can make them round like mine, but you don't have to. You can have a play with some of the fancy shapes we did in video 201. Making rolls means technically more work on your part, but it's still not that much, is it, if we're being honest? The time for the final puff is the same, but you have reduced baking time by about half an hour in comparison to our loaf. Plus, you don't have to wait so long for it to cool down before you can eat them. This might be more convenient for you to do in this moment, but for my go-to fastest solution, I always make pita breads. The bread with the hull is probably the most practical in many aspects. They're quick to make, quick to bake, stackable, freezable, and you can even take them straight out of the freezer and put them into the toaster whenever you need them. The first thing you need to do is get your oven on to 200 degrees C, either with a baking stone or a baking tray inside to get nice and hot. Divide your loaf dough into 12 small balls this time, each weighing around 75 grams. Rest them for 10 to 15 minutes to make the rolling out easier and then roll them out. Just one way though to get that characteristic pita bread shape. You can bake 4 at a time. So roll 4 with plenty of dust, place them equidistant on the hot tray or stone, close the door and set a timer for 4 minutes while you eagerly anticipate the majestic and really quite magical pita puff. It is a sight to behold. Transfer to a rack to cool, remembering it is steam that makes them puff and steam is really hot, so please be careful. Then roll out your next batch. With only a 10 to 15 minute rest time and 4 minutes to bake, you can get the whole batch done in less than 30 minutes after you've just discovered your overproofed sticky mess of a dough. That's pretty good, isn't it? Nice one. My kids love these and I do too.
Hello, it is I, Mr. Pita Bread.
Have a think about this for a moment. Your dough isn't ruined when it collapses like this. It's just puffed up too much and it can't cope with it. Unless you forgot it for the whole day, it would probably puff up again the next time around. So consider your options because they really are infinite. Perhaps a cheese-topped garlic bread pizza from video 203, or try some baguettes. Or a focaccia with something imaginative out of the fridge on top of it. What you have here is a very well fermented and flavoursome bread dough. So the way I see it is that a rare opportunity to play has just presented itself and landed in your lap. So grab hold of it with both hands and make whatever you like with it. You never know, you might just come up with the best bread you have ever made. And you might even learn something along the way. Just never, and promise me ever, throw that dough in the bin, sweep the disappointment aside and the worry of what to do next, and just try something. Thank you to all patrons. Thank you to everyone who's found me recently and clicked subscribe. Thank you for all your super thanks, and thank you for the overwhelmingly positive response to my last video that probably came out of the blue for many of you. You rock, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.